Okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go look at a picture right now about these moons, all right? And the answer is going to be in this video if I can ever find the moons. I haven't found the moons yet. No, no moon. Okay, here it is. Okay, for Benoit Schreier, okay? This is for you. I'm going to put it on here. All I did, right, is I looked at the formation they were put in. I do not have everything complete, but I will tell you 76, 59, and 64 are in one row. Okay. 91 and 24 are in another row, and 73 and 96 are in another row. There's only 7. You cannot have 8. The one in the center takes up the totality of whatever that 8 position would be. When you get into the 5 hole, which is like on the ace card, you're in the 5 hole, but nothing's there. But that 5 hole is an entry into the void of the 2 omegas creating the 8. So 5 and 8 automatically end up in the same hole. Now there's nothing in 8 and there's nothing in 5. You must have the birth of 9 to fit with the center 5. All letters and places on cards, okay, all have positions. The 5 position is right here. When you have 1 in the center, you won't have 2 on the outside. The 1 in the center represents the 2 on the outside. So in this scenario, the way I just look at it straight, 24 is to the left of 59, which is to the center, which is to the right of 37. 37 is the finite, okay, of creation, 3 gates of 7. The 3rd gate is an actuality of the opening of 1 real gate for 1 birth. So it says 3. And you stand up, okay, and you walk as a human. So 2 and 8 is covered for in you. And the east-west that you walk cover for the 4 and cover for the 6, okay. But anyways, 7 and 3 is 10, which makes it to the 10 worlds. Which 10 world is it at? At the 3 creation of the 7th gate. That's where it's at. Uranus and Earth is what the expression. It is a 10. Next to it is Titan. The way I got 64 is 2-letter T's are for transfers, and you can only do that transfer if you're going to a 10 world with a double T, because that is 20. The 20th letter meaning the 20th, the 2 world of 10, because Alpha God starts on the starting point, point 0, which is nothing, but it's still a space is 1. So although he starts from nothing, he is still 1 in the spot. And the spot still counts for something. But the spot doesn't count until he comes around to the beginning again to have the spot count for something. Otherwise, a spot to start is nothing without a spot to finish. So we go all the way to A to I. And when you go A to I, you have the 1st letter and the 9th letter, like in Callisto. Okay, the A and I together complete a 10, in which you see Callisto, 9 plus 1 is 10, which is the Jack. So now you have 1 O plus the place you started, which is an O, and then number 1. But the next time we come around to number 1, it's like a spiral. We moved up the staircase because it's no longer you, number 1. It's been transferred on to somebody else. Although you're the existence of the creation of the entire bubble, it gets passed on. So in here, I went Callisto, which is 91, which is the number of spirit, which is also 7 by 13 weeks, makes 1 season, or 7 by 13 cards, which makes 91, adding from 1 to 13. Callisto. Anything you have, anytime you have an ST anywhere in the word, always different, especially when it's capitalized, just like in these pictures here. Okay, it actually says CALL. It means to call. IS is call 51, which means the ace angel, okay, because the I and the S is just like a number 15. And then TO is T omega, the transfer of omega, 15. TO is actually saying 30, the 2 eggs, because 91 is an assimilation of the 2 eggs. 45 and a half, 4.55 and 55. Because if man comes from 6 halfway down, he gets to 5.5. When angel goes from 5 up, halfway up, he goes to 5.5. Although the angle of the angel ends at 4. He who keeps it together, our God, okay, brings that angel up one. It's almost like in Roman numerals, okay, if you can't follow me, it's almost like in Roman numerals. The minute you see an X with a one stick on one side or the other one, you put the stick on one side, it's a 9. You put the stick on the other side, it's an 11. And all from one stick, we transfer from 9 to 11. The same thing with 4. We have 3 sticks. The 4th stick, all of a sudden, we got a V. A V with a 1 on one side of it. In the totality, the V and the 1 make 6 if the stick was on the right side. But nevertheless, if there was a stick on the right and a stick on the left, regardless of the totality, we still have 2 extra sticks, plus the 5 equaling to a maximum of 7. East-west doesn't count. It's either 2 and 8 or 4 and 6. This is the Magen David world, my friends, okay? The travel of Trinity. In the first box, you have 1. In the second box, you have 1. In the third box, you have 3. In the first box, you have 1. In the second box, you have 1. In the third box, you have 6. It's first and third. First and third. You're in the center as 2, so you're going to go 1 and 3. The 2 has to look back, but the 1 seems to always be looking forward, because when he looks back, he sees nothing. It's the void that brought him forward. So anyways, all these are letter counts. T-I-T-A-N can also say time birth. T-I is 29. 29 days, once every 4 years, creating and completing the leap year. The 6 takes into account the fullness of it, because 6 and 4 makes 10. The average is 5. Once you can get 5, you can do a lot of things from that point. 5 is a pretty special number, especially when you say it's the 5th. You have to put an F in there, but a T and an H, you can hardly say it. So anyways, Titan, 20, 49, 50, and the N is a 14. It ends with a passage, N. You got to look at sometimes what it ends. Oh, look at this one, number 24, where the 6 is. It seems to say I and O. I is the 9th letter, and O is the 15th. It totals 24. And that's why it says 24. It's 24 hours for number 6 man. But number 3 is creation. And it has nothing to do whether we live on earth. Okay. Now, spirit of 76 is the same thing. I just counted the letters. Why does 7 and 6 equal 4? Because 7 plus 6 equals 13. 1 and 3 equals 4. But we can also take it one step further, but I did not. 7 by 6 is 42. And the number 42 represents the words 5 and 9, F-I-V-E-N-I-N-E. 42 plus that 13 makes the freedom of 55, and that's why it's the spirit of 76, because it gives you the 55. The freedom of 55 is the passage everywhere, because 5 is in the center. You're halfway. We're always halfway. We are in the middle of the east because we're always pointing north. It's the way it is. So then you have Trinitron or Trinton, and even in saying ton, it's almost like saying triton, which is saying 3 of, the sound of 3 because of the word ton. It also could be known as a metric ton. So depending what you know about tri and ton, okay, trifecta means the mixing up of 3, of course, because you're mixing up your 9 birth. The only thing that happens with the 9 birth, you retain the tail of your 9 birth because you're living. But you live upright, standing up. You're not a baby. You've finished the baby stage. Now your life is 6 is your life. But you live it from the freedom of 55 because it is a V with a 1 stick, okay? But the stick is an I on it. It's a half a stick. It's hard to explain what that is. We're not going to jump into it. 9 and 6 are 15. 1 and 5 is 6. 9 and 6 is 15. Alpha Omega, because the 15 as letters is A and E. I'm not going to get into that now. We can go everywhere. 59, okay, is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, Jupiter. 1, 2, 3, 4, Jupiter. 4 and 4, odd numbers, even numbers. The only number that's a little bit different is the 8, because really it's a void space, okay? But it has to happen, okay, as the month of August and October, with both represent the 8, it has to be in 31 days because it's creation spirit. Okay, now how can I explain this right now? Wow, when I get these things in my head, wow. Right, because when you sing the song 30 days as September, April, June, and November, all the rest are 31. Okay, when you sing that song, what happens is the birth, okay, is in creation. The heaven, it switches around. Because birth is creation, it has to be 30. The eighth heaven doesn't need creation, it's just created already. So we have to move that month of September into 30 days instead of 31 days. And it's the month of the seventh gate also, because when you say September, it's the scepter, the passage of the king's scepter to seventh gate. And that scepter, if you put it here and you are an X, it is a 9. And if Moses would take that scepter and put it here and he is an X, he is now an 11. Okay? In all totality, you are 9, 10, 11, total of 30, and you are creation. Or 4, 5, and 6, and it's 15. Alpha, E-world, connection, electronics. So all these numbers all go together. Now you have these 1, 2, 3 worlds of 10. Well, the 3 worlds normally you're supposed to have 4 worlds of 10. Now it shows you in the upper picture where Trinitron is that the 6 and 4 go together to create that final 10, where man lives on I and O planet as number 6. That's the way it works out. We live on that planet, okay, because of the way these numbers work out. Why is it 10? The Magen David has 3 lines, one this way, one this way, one this way. One with the Magen David this way, one with the Magen David this way. That's why there's Magen Davids designed, and they all look the same thing to me, but I can see the difference. They also turn out to number 56, which is the wolf, but I'm not getting into that. But if you total out the 2 planets on top, it comes to a 10, and the only one left out is 6. So if you take a look, it's 6, 4, 6, 4. It's almost like 2 are either giving to the spirit of 76, because when you give to the spirit of 76, you run on 13. Now, if we're running on 13 in Trinity, it means 10. TEN letter count is 39. And it's not only for that, because the letters S and T, like I said, the 19th and 20th letter are 39. And saints and streets and places, the structures are all saints. And when it's ST and E with it, what kind of saint? A female saint? You add the 5, which is 44, which is delta, delta, space of space. The 4 angles and the 4 angles and the one on the inside. Anyways, I don't know what much more I can tell you this, but whatever you want to add, it's always going to tell you a story because it's numbers. If you can find a definition for each number in each situation, then you can always exploit the situation. So anyways, 96 and 76 makes 172. And the thing about 172 is the 2 passes of the 7th gate. One, as you can see, from one underworld, and one you can see from one overworld. So that's 2 of the 2nd gate. If we added in the 24, okay, with the 76, we get a perfect 196, which is perfect, the 1 spirit of the 9 birth of 6 man. When the 1 spirit in there, it just like tells you it's all together in one, it's already included inside. When you get to number 4 in this world, you're actually at number 14. In Rubik's Cube, although we have 26 letters in the alphabet, they say sometimes Y making it the 27th, although it's a repeat, it's sometimes I, the Y is sometimes like an I, and the ends sideways is a Z. Just like the jack and the 4, if they turn them sideways, they're also composite numbers. Just as the same thing, if you take the number 1 and you draw it over any other number, it will distort all numbers. The 1 is in the center. If you're in the Olympics, number 1 who's in first position is the center. 2nd and 3rd are on the sides. Even though you came in first, you're not in first, you're the center of attraction. So everything becomes a center of attraction. It moves to the center. So the moon of Earth is now in the center over there. But for me, no one can actually live in the center. Can you live in the nut? No. You live upon the nut, in which the nut is your mind and your brain. That means the core of the brain comes out of the moon that attracts us on this planet Earth, the planet actual that they think we're in. But I'm not sure if we actually can be on planet number 3, because planet number 3 is in the corner of your telephone. And if something happens in the corner, we have no protection. I'd say we'd be more or less on planet number 6, or I and O, maybe not on any planet at all in this solar system that we know of. Just hiding away from the evildoers, having to hide the name of our planet until the last being, when the evil comes about to settle the score. Don't forget, if this was a book just like the Bible, The sky is going to point out to everywhere we are on this earth, purposely done in the system of the matrix. Okay, we have to study the sky, and we have to spread out the way we look at our equations. What's right and what was right, and what is left and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. If you say the word 2 and you add 2, then you are okay. Because when you add the word 2 to Area 51, you get 512 megabytes in the 24 hours of the day. Why? Because MB, B is the second letter, M is the 13th letter, 1 and 3 is 4, 24. 512, the reason for that is because everything that has the center is always in the 5 spot, and it's always dead center to be number 1.0 at the same time. So that number 5 would now be in the center. Now I forget exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about that, what the moon might be doing. I just think the moon is just sending out energies. I mean, the wolves, they bark at the moon. Don't the wolves bark at the moon? You know, all these little things in life bring us to a bigger picture. We got to implement everything else that nobody else. Like I continue to say, if the Bible was written with a horror story in it, we're going to have a horror of some kind of story. Something has to happen. A Messiah will just not fall onto the earth, and God will just not come here. It's got to be played out right till the end, although the end will go very, very fast. Okay, not like the beginning. I mean, when it's the end, you can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 minutes more. If I roll the dice 2 more times, I'm out, or there's a time limit and there's game over. Don't forget, soccer is one of the basic only rules to extra time. 3 minutes creation to total out the totality of 39. 90 minutes and 3 minutes. 309 omega. Anyways, from here it is. I think I explained myself. When you go 646 again, I mean, and then you got 616, 616, 616. These are all, anytime you see 1, that's Mercury. Right away, it's Mercury and the sun. Anytime you see this, it's Mercury and the sun. Mercury and the sun. Mercury, the sun, and Pluto. Mercury, the sun, and Pluto. Mercury, the sun, and Pluto. Anyways, okay, we're going to come to this end of this cassette. Thank you very much. Take care.